Good morning. It is a very cold, claggy and misty day in the mountains, and would you believe this is my first time heading out in my trail running kit to run in the mountains in probably 6 months, and this is what we get. But today is going to be a challenge because one of the things I'm out doing today is recceing a campsite for this weekend. The forecast is not very good. It's very windy, so I'm trying to find somewhere that might be sheltered enough to get a few tents into. I have an idea in mind of a location. The problem is it's off the trail, so I gotta run down this trail about 2.5 miles and then just step out into the unknown. So if you're lucky, you might be about to witness me getting horrendously lost. This bit's a little bit creepy with all those weird dead trees over there. I think that was a result of a fire a number of years ago, tore through Annalong Valley and destroyed a huge amount of that forest. But something else I want to talk about today was the reason I quit mountain running, because if you've been on my channel for a long time, my main channel, you'll know that mountain running was a huge part of that channel, and it really helped grow it and develop it. At some point it started to become diminishing returns because the videos started to get quite samey, so it's one of the reasons I spun off to do this channel. Also, I wanted to do a wider range of things on there, but that's not the reason why I personally stopped mountain running. There are probably two reasons why I stopped mountain running. Probably first of all was health and fitness. I ended up with quite bad exercise-induced asthma following having COVID right at the start of the pandemic. This was like really early on. I had it I had the OG COVID. I think that kind of messed up my lungs a little bit, because for 2 years after that, I've always had asthma. This wasn't something new, and it had always been triggered by going to walk for a bit, exercise. But this was as bad as I'd had it for probably decades, to be honest. And it meant that anytime I tried to run uphill, my lungs just turned to fire and tightness and pain. It was just really, really unpleasant. So because I couldn't get the oxygen to run uphill, I stopped doing it. And even with the inhaler, it didn't help when it was a really steep climb. So it became really unpleasant. So that's what made me stop initially. And then I've never really managed to get the fitness back, and that relates to the second reason I stopped mountain running. The second reason is time. Mountain running has got to be the most time-consuming training of any form of running, because you got to do it in the mountains. You can't just do it at home, or you can't just do it in some casual trails near your house, because the big skill that you need in mountain running that you don't have in other types of running is essentially the ability to run up terrain that is as steep as a staircase and be able to push, run if you can, fast walk if you can, but push fast, so give it like a really good effort uphill for, up to, in the UK anyway, up to about 1,000 meters. And it's the only way to get that type of fitness is to come down and train in the mountains. I mean, maybe you could probably do a lot of hill repeats and run up and down staircases, and whoa, that used to be the most popular wild camping spot in the Mournes, and it is devastated. Whoa, I was not expecting that to be so bad. Sad times. Okay, so the training took up a huge amount of time. And I just wanted to be able to do other things. I've always been somebody who likes to mix up what I do, multi-sport. I'm not going to say a hybrid athlete. I think it's kind of a nonsense phrase. But yeah, I like to do different things. By the way, I feel like hybrid, now I'm going on a rant, I feel like hybrid athlete, whatever the definition of that, should be the default. It's a bizarre thing. If you think about it, it's really weird that people sort of decide this is the one type of fitness thing I'm going to do, and I'm just going to concentrate on that. And I think, ooh, another big tree down. And I think that's just because of the nature of, I don't know, our competitive society. It drives people into thinking you must do one thing and excel at that one thing, instead of, you know, maybe don't be competitive and just actually enjoy doing multiple things. That's my philosophy anyway. So I want to do more things. Mountain running and training took up a huge amount of time. And yeah, those two things combined, lost my fitness plus losing the willingness to give that amount of time, meant that I kind of gave up trying to mountain run. But if I'm honest, whew, I really, really miss it. Like, I really miss it. Ooh, rolled my ankle there. I loved having that level of fitness where I was able to, if not run up a mountain, run up part of it and fast hike up it. And then when I got up onto the ridge lines, to run along. And yeah, it's an amazing feeling, being up high and running. Run steep, get high. And I would love to get back to that again. And I decided that this year I was going to do it. But then I injured my Achilles and injured my groin, and my goal of getting fit enough to start running mountain races in March, April has been somewhat thwarted. Am I going that way? I might be going that way. Hang on, I gotta check a map. I use a mapping app called Hiker. It gives me offline maps. Okay, zoom in. Okay, yeah, I'm going that way. Yes, because I need to end up there, and then from there, I'm going to cut cross country to there. Okay, so we are nearly 2/3 of the way there. I think for me, the only other type of running that I enjoy the feeling of more than sort of actual mountain running is, there's a weird silhouette. So, of all the other types of running I've done, nothing quite gives me the satisfaction of having that level of fitness as mountain running. I ran my first ultra last year, and it was on a road. I know there's different types of ultra, and I just plodded the whole thing. I didn't really feel like, for me, it didn't feel like an achievement of fitness. At the end of it, it felt like it was an achievement of mental endurance. Just plod, 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 plod. Whereas when I'm up in the mountains, it's different. It's not the same. Oh, look, river. I'm trying not to get my feet wet. Not because I mind having wet feet, but because once your feet get wet and gravel gets in, that's what kind of makes blisters. So I like to keep them dry for the first half if possible. But this path is basically a road, a river. This trail is pretty much a river today. Hey Siri, set a timer for 8 minutes. My current pace is about 10 minutes per mile. So I've got about a mile to go before I need to turn off. So I've set a timer for 8 minutes so I don't accidentally run too far. That's one of my little navigation techniques. Going this way. Right, where am I? Quite a bit slower than expected. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. Whoa. That's not a river, that's the trail. I feel like it's beckoning me to run in it. Okay, I've stopped here. I stopped here. My original plan was to go all the way up to here and then cut across the spot, but I've just noticed there's a trail here. So my guess is that trail is going down to this spot. So I think I'm just gonna follow this and hope for the best. It could turn out this is just a sheep trail and it leads absolutely nowhere. The trail is going that way, but I'm pretty sure where I need to be is directly that way, off trail. So off trail we go. Now, see that rock? That's my first navigation point. This rock here. So I'm running to there, looking ahead. See that little slope of the land there? It's a little tuft. And then running to that next. This is how I try and make sure that I'm going in a straight line. There we go, there's Tufty. That's my Tufty friend. Next point is, there's a little mound there. I'm running to that. Well, that's interesting. There's a stream here. I think it's straight across here. This is interesting, look at this. It's like a little wetlands area down here. Wasn't expecting this. It looks flat on the map, but actually there's all these like bumps and berms. And that's one of the reasons I'm down here, to try and see if those will give shelter from, oh, there's the river. Now, where am I in relation to where I was supposed to be going? Ah, okay, so I went a little bit too much to the right and I ended up in this marsh. Spot I'm trying to get to is either there or there. I can't remember which one, so I think I just follow the river along here. This is nice. It's like sand dunes here, and oh, okay. I think I've spotted the camping. I slipped there and pulled my groin a little bit more. This is it. Never camped here myself, but I know this is a very popular spot. What about the wind? The wind is right in my face, coming from that direction. It's not as bad as forecast. The forecast winds today for up here about 25 miles an hour. This feels more like 10, maybe. I mean, if you got round here, if you camped here, you'd be nearly totally out of the wind, yeah. Here's another spot round here. It's not very flat, but it's totally out of the wind. There we go, we've recce'd it. It's less windy than it could be. It's not windy. I think I'm gonna leave this video here, but if anybody's got any recommendations for training that I could do that would make me good at mountain running without actually having to run in the mountains, please let me know. And ideally it's not something that I have to stand in one spot to do, because I'm not very good at that. You know what, I've really missed all this splashing and scrambling about that you only really get in proper sort of off-trail mountain environments like this. I've forgotten how much of a smile it puts on my face, and also how cold and damp it makes me feel.